All right, good morning, guys. It is time to restart our Kinstretch practice. Really excited to put this video together for you guys today. Today, what I'll be covering primarily is CARs, so just a reintroduction to the system of FRC, functional range conditioning, as well as Kinstretch. So we'll be going over CARs in a couple different positions today. Each position will probably take about 15 minutes, so if you wanted to, you could split this class into a couple different sessions and maybe do it first thing in the morning as part of your morning routine, which I highly recommend, or you could do it all at once for just an easy class. So we'll get started in the standing position, and for class, really all you're going to need is 2 yoga blocks, maybe a dowel if you don't have a wall or door frame or something to hold on to. So when you're ready, take just a comfortable stance. Let's start with the standing position and just go through our full body CARs. So beginning with the neck, bring your chin to your chest, look towards your right armpit, lean your right ear back to your right back pocket, eyes up to the ceiling, look over to the left, down to left armpit, down to chest, reverse, look over to the left shoulder, left ear back, eyes up, over to the right, down, chin to chest, number 2. Big circles drawn with your nose, and down to center and reverse. Look to the left, eyes up, over to the right, down to center, and one more, just big circles here with your nose. So just a reminder, CARs, controlled articular rotations, the objective is to take each joint through its full rotational range of motion. And the benefit of doing this is that it helps us maintain the current range that we have. So in the next class, we'll do a review of Pales Rails setups and contractions, which are used to create range of motion. CARs, which is what we're doing in this class, helps us maintain range of motion. So if you do CARs every day, you're likely not losing any range of motion that you currently have. So it's a great way to maintain what you've got and prevent any losses. And also just a great way to get the body moving first thing in the morning. So big hug around the chest. You can also take one of your yoga blocks and hug it to your chest as well. Let's bring the elbows down towards 6 o'clock. Rotate the shoulders over towards 5 and 4 o'clock. Start leaning that right shoulder back to the right heel. Elbows are at 3 o'clock. Start rotating up to the ceiling. Elbows are at 12. Over to 9. That left shoulder leans back. Elbows down to 8, 7, and 6. And reverse. Just imagine a clock face in front of you, trying to touch each of the numbers with your elbows. Nothing too extreme. If you can, squeeze your butt here to prevent your lower back from moving, and that'll help you just isolate this to the mid-back and shoulders. And reverse, number 2, 7 o'clock, 8, 9, 10, 11, up to 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, last one, number 3. Big circles touching each of the numbers. Squeeze your butt tight so that you're not using your lower back here. Around and reverse. Very good. I just want to show you an example of what this might look like if we use the lower back as part of these CARs. You're just going to see a much larger circle, which is not necessarily what you're looking for. So if I bring my elbows down towards my belt buckle or down towards 6 o'clock, without using my lower back, I end up here. If I use my lower back, I start to really end up down low below my belt buckle. And so if you look from the side, this is the difference between here, and you can see most of the curvature is in my mid-back. And as I go here, now I'm getting much more rounding in the lumbar. So we really want to squeeze the butt tight. That'll allow you to just move from this upper space. Next, let's go to the shoulder blades. Simple drill here, hands at your sides. Shrug the shoulders up, roll them forward, drop down, roll back, shrug up, forward, down, back, up, forward, down, back. One more, forward, down, back, and reverse, forward, up, back, down, forward, up, back, down. One more, forward, up, back, down. Let's go to the shoulder. Next, take your right hand, palm forward, arm is straight, bring it across your body as far as you can. Bicep should graze your cheek, or in my case, the mustache, as you come across the face. Palm turns forward and out, reach back behind you. Come down to meet your thigh, reverse. Reach back as far as you can, turn your palm in and down. Keep turning as you come to the overhead position. Come across the mustache and back down. Number 2. And palm forward, palm out. Reach back behind you. Reach back, palm in towards you, down to the floor. Keep rotating. That direction is external rotation. And last one, shoulder flexes, comes across the midline to overhead position. When you get here, this is internal rotation. Palm turns forward and out. We're trying to wind that shoulder in towards your head. Reach back behind you. Keep twisting in that direction. Palm should be facing out at the bottom. Reach back. Palm turns in, down to the floor. External rotation. If you really wind this up, your palm should actually be up to the ceiling now as I come to overhead and across. So you really want to get as much of that twisting action when we begin that rotation. So I'll call that out as we go through left shoulder. Left arm comes across the midline, up to the cheek, grazing the mustache, overhead position. From here, turning palm forward, palm out will give you internal rotation. Reach back. You should be able to get some more twist here, enough that your palm faces out from this position. Reach back behind you. Turn the palm in, down. Keep twisting, external rotation as you come to overhead, across the face, back down to the beginning. Number 2, big circles. You're tracing the circles with your fingers here. If you're having trouble trying to find these positions, you can take the side that we're working and move up close to the wall. And the wall will help you maintain that range of motion and make these big circles. And reverse. Excellent. Let's go to the elbows. So rotation at the elbows, simplest way of explaining it is if you straighten your arm, turn your palm over, that's rotation at the elbow. Turn your palm back, rotation at the elbow. Now it looks like it's happening at the wrist, but what's happening is your 2 bones, radius and ulna, your radius is moving over the other bone. So you can put your fingers right on this outside part of your right wrist, and as you twist it over, you can actually feel that bone moving. So this is radio-ulnar rotation. Let's go palms forward, flex the elbow so palms are facing you, and then let's begin. Straighten the elbow, turn the palm over, flex the elbow, turn, straighten, turn, flex, turn, straighten, turn, flex. Palms are facing away, straighten, turn, flex, turn, straighten, turn, flex, turn. One more, turn, flex, turn. Very good. You might hear some cracking as we do elbows and wrists. For you, you may get cracking or popping sounds anywhere, neck, hips, knees, ankles, etc. As long as it doesn't hurt, that's okay. You might wake up your partner as you're doing your morning routine like I do with Rachel. She always hears my elbows and my wrist cracking, but that's okay. Next, for the wrist, palm is up. Just take a light hold on your forearm. Keep this underside of your forearm facing up to the ceiling. So we don't want that rotation that we just had to happen as we work on the wrist here. A couple different positions for the wrist. I like to play with fingers straight and spread like this. It's a position you don't find yourself in. Fists are easy. So let's spread the fingers out. Keep that forearm in place. Bring the middle finger down towards 6 o'clock, over and up towards 3, up to 12 o'clock. When you get to 12, see if you can get a 90-degree angle here. Really reach those fingers up to the ceiling. Over to 9, down to 6, 2 more in the counterclockwise direction. 9, 6 o'clock, 3, 12, 9, 6, and reverse. 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6. One more. Very good. And the other side. Fingers are spread out, nice and wide and straight. Middle finger comes down towards 6, over towards 9, 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. One more. Really big circles. And reverse. 6, 3, 12, 9. And one more. Excellent. So we'll still work from the standing position. Let's just quickly go over how you can set up for the hip here. If you have a door frame, just grab onto the door. You may be able to get up close and hug that door frame, which is just going to give you more stability. So the more of your body that's in contact and connected to an object, the less is going to be able to move. So it makes it much better for us to be able to focus on the joint that we're trying to train. So if you imagine a door frame, go ahead and bring your knee up to that door frame, your hip, your chest, and maybe even your head. And for you guys, if you're working with a door frame, you would just grab both sides of it. In my case, I can get around this post. Next, we're going to focus on the left hip. So left knee is going to drive up, open out to the side, reach the foot back behind you, bring the knee down and around to meet the other knee, and reverse, foot and knee drive back, out to the side, foot drops under, comes down. Now in my case, I can get my foot across this post, almost like I'm crossing one foot over the other, but you may not be able to do that with a door frame, so no worries there. Next, raise that knee up, open out to the side, foot reaches back behind you, come down and around to meet the knee, reverse, foot drops under, comes across and down. One more. Knee lifts up, open out to the side, foot reaches back, knee comes down to meet the other knee, and reverse. You can tell I have not been practicing from a standing position. I'm being lazy, doing quadruped every morning. All right. So let's go to the other hip. Same as before, if you have a door frame, you want to get up close to it, get as much of your body in contact with it as you can. And if not, you could just put your hand on the wall or put your hand on some sort of an object. Same thing as before. When you're ready, knee lifts up, opens out to the side, foot reaches back, come down to meet the other knee, reverse, out to the side, foot drops under, and down, number 2. When it comes to cars at the hip, you're moving through the hip, obviously, but you're drawing the circles with your knee. So if you're trying to imagine 12 o'clock, 3, 6, 9, so on and so forth, you're drawing that shape with the knee. So when we do wrist cars, you're drawing the shape with your fingers moving through the wrist. When we do neck cars, as an example, I'm drawing the shape with my nose, but it's my neck that's moving. So it can help sometimes to visualize the knee as being the tip of the pen that's drawing the circle when you're doing hip cars. Now, as we go to the knee, you can still be standing for this. What you're going to do is just kind of lift the heel, scoop the heel to the inside, bend the knee, heel's going to swing to the outside, extend until your toes touch the ground. You want to finish with a slight bend in the knee. As you straighten the knee, it's going to automatically externally rotate anyway. So let's go heel in, bend, heel out, extend, heel in, bend, out, extend. One more, heel in, bend, out, extend, and now reverse. Heel is out, bend, in, extend, heel out, bend, in, extend, heel out. Last one, bend, in, extend. Now I'll give you guys a view from the other side, from me facing this way, just so you can see what's happening with the heel. So again, come up on your toes, heels off the ground, scoop that heel to the inside, bend the knee, heel out, extend, heel in, bend, out, extend, heel in, bend, out, extend, and now we reverse and go in the other direction. So heel is out, bend, heel in, extend, out, bend, in, extend, out, bend, in, extend. Very good. Then for the ankle from a standing position, what's nice is if you lock the knee and just hold your foot out in front of you, the rotations we just went through with the knee cannot happen because the knee is locked in place. So straighten the knee, foot out in front of you, draw circles with the toes. Let's go clockwise. 3 big circles, reverse, counterclockwise. Just like the wrist, really pull those toes up towards the kneecap and push them down to the floor. One more. Very good. And the other side. Knee is straight. Big circles. So you're moving through the ankle, but you're drawing with your toes. One more. And now clockwise. Very good. Last piece, let's focus on the toes for a moment. Simple toe cars here. Let's go to the right foot. Keep the big toe down as you lift the little toes all at once. Let's do 5. Big toe stays down, little toes come up. 3, 4, 5, and lift the big toe. Keep the little toes down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, lift all the toes, set them down, pinky first, in towards the big toe, pinky first, all toes up, pinky down first, 3, 2 more, 4, 5, and I can't do it the other way, so if you wanted to, you could lift them all up and set them down, big toe, and work your way out. I need to practice that more. So let's go to the left foot. Same as before, big toe stays down, little toes up, down, 2, up, down, 3, up, down, 4, up, down, 5. Next, let's go to big toe up, little toes stay down. 1, down, 2, down, 3, down, 4, down, 5, down, all toes up, setting little toe down first, fanning your way in, number 2, number 3, this one's harder, 4, and 5. Excellent. So I do want to go, as we transition to the ground here, over one additional CARS drill that we don't really use very often, but I think would be really valuable for you guys. It's patella CARS, so kneecap CARS. These can be a little uncomfortable, a little nausea-inducing. So what you need to do is be very gentle with how you do this. So I'm going to try to just get zoomed in on the knee here for you guys. Let's see, that's good. Now, the way this works is, again, it should be gentle. You want to relax your legs so that there's no tension in the kneecap. You'll take your thumbs, and if you imagine the kneecap or the patella as a clock, let's place your thumbs at 9 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Now, what you're going to do is use the 9 o'clock thumb to push the kneecap over towards 6 o'clock. So your kneecap is supposed to have movement in all of these different directions, and we're going to practice them now. So let's wiggle back and forth the patella from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So use your 9 o'clock thumb, push the patella over to 6, or over to 3. Use the 3 o'clock thumb, press it over to 9, and just go back and forth 5 times. Then move your 9 o'clock thumb down to 8, 3 o'clock thumb up to 2, and wiggle back and forth. This should not hurt. Obviously, if it hurts, don't do it. Just be very gentle. Allow it to move in whatever way is natural. Next, 7 and 1, back and forth. 6 and 12. Really try to get your thumbs on the edge of the patella. I know I can't really zoom in much further for you guys, but next, 11 and 5. 10 and 4. Very good. Now let's go to the other one. Same thing as before, starting at 9 and 3 o'clock, not 9 and 6 o'clock. Guess I've never seen a clock before. And let's push back and forth. 5 times is plenty. And now 8 and 2 o'clock. Now, if there really isn't much movement here, like the patella isn't sliding, this is something that you definitely want to practice. So folks who, now let's go to 7 and 1 o'clock. Folks who have knee pain in and around your patella, maybe part of the pain is because that patella is not moving. 12 and 6, because it should move, and it should have a wide degree of freedom for movement. So mine on this side really doesn't move very well between 6 and 12 o'clock, and is actually quite uncomfortable. So that's an area for me to practice. Let's go to 5 and 11 o'clock. back and forth. Lots of movement here for me. 4 and 10 o'clock. And last one, 3 and 9 o'clock again. So I just wanted to show you guys how to do that. The patella cars, again, can be really uncomfortable and quite nausea-inducing in the beginning because most of us are not used to moving our patella and wiggling that kneecap around. As you do it more often, it will become more comfortable, but you'll also gain a lot of movement at the patella. So don't be afraid of experimenting with those and giving them a try. So now that we're on the floor, we're going to move to quadruped. We'll go through another round of full body cars from this position. What I want you guys to notice is just how changing our orientation to gravity by 90 degrees can really make some of these movements much more difficult or much easier. So you'll notice for things like the neck, it'll probably feel a lot easier. As we go to things like the shoulder, it'll be much more difficult. We'll also introduce a different concept, which is open chain cars versus closed kinetic chain cars. Open chain cars, as an example, I can just show you quickly, would be if I'm moving the further body part around my closer body part. So if we look at the wrist, in open chain cars, I move my hand around my forearm. In closed chain wrist cars, I can move my forearm around my hand. So all the movement still occurs at the wrist, but it's in a different relationship between the two body parts. So when we're in quadruped, some of the cars that we'll do will take place with that distinction change. For you guys, that's not something you need to worry about. Just know that sometimes the closed kinetic chain cars, while they might be more difficult, they can potentially be more beneficial because you can get more force through those positions. So we'll experiment with some of that as we go. So let's begin on hands, knees, and feet. Knees should be underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders. You can either tuck your toes, which I like to do. It'll give you practice keeping your toes in that position, or you can untuck them if that's more comfortable as well. If for some reason this is uncomfortable on the knees, just grab 2 hand towels, plop them under the knees. Even if you need like 3 or 4 towels underneath that knee, it's good to get some pressure on the knee. It will teach your knee that it's going to encounter pressure and you will grow new bone structure to deal with that. So food for thought, don't be afraid of putting that pressure on. When you're ready, let's begin at the neck again. Bringing chin to chest, looking towards the right armpit, leaning the right ear back, eyes up and forward, looking over to the left shoulder, down to the left armpit. Chin to chest, reverse, look to left armpit, left ear back to back pocket, eyes up and forward, right ear to right back pocket, eyes to right armpit, down to center, number 2. Big circles. You're drawing the circle with your nose, moving through your neck. And number 3, look to right armpit, right ear back, eyes up and forward, over to the left, down to center, reverse, and return to center. Excellent. Next, we'll go through the spinal cars. In quadruped, this will be a segmental spinal car, which means we're going to try to move every vertebrae in your spine versus just the mid-back. These are really beneficial. You could do this in quadruped, or in another class I'll show you how to do it laying down. I like to make fists here. It just feels a little bit stronger, but you can always keep your hand flat or go to fists. So find your resting position, just wherever's comfortable from here. And now let's go into as rounded of a position as you can get. So bring your belly button up and away from the floor as high as you can. Think about pushing your back up to the ceiling, tucking your butt under, bringing your belly button closer to your face, And now tuck your chin. My mouth is like right over the microphone, so it'll probably be loud. Now, when you're ready, let's start unwinding this, starting back at your tailbone or at your butt. And what you want to do is begin to push your butt out behind you slowly. Let your belt buckle fall to the floor, belly button fall to the floor. Start unwinding all of that rounding, creating an arch in your back. Think about lifting your ribs up and away from your thighs, lifting your bra line up and away from the floor. Again, ribs moving away from the hips, shoulders coming up from the ground, head pulls up from the floor, chin sticks out. So now everything is in extension or in a big arch position from here, opposite of the rounding we were just in. So now let's return to that position, starting with the tailbone, scooping down and under. You're pulling your butt back in, pulling your belt buckle away from the floor, belly button away from the floor. Your ribs are coming closer to your thighs. Your chest is coming up and away from the ground. Ribs again moving closer to the thighs. Head comes down, chin to chest. And now you're in this fully rounded position. So we'll do two more. But what you're trying to do again is just move one little unit at a time. So let's repeat. Start to stick your butt out just a little bit. Belt buckle drops to the floor. Belly button drops to the floor. Ribs begin to move away from the thighs. Bra line moves away from the thighs, up from the floor. Squeeze between those shoulder blades. Try to lift your chest higher. Head comes back. Eyes look up and forward and reverse. Begin to tuck. Think about bringing your belt buckle towards your head, belly button towards your ribs, ribs towards your thighs, head and chin tuck, and then one more. We're not worried about speed here. If anything, the slower you can do this, the more refined, the more granular this will be, and you'll be able to address all those little spots in your back that sometimes get uncomfortable. Very nice. That is called a segmental spine, or is called segmental spine cars. Again, I'll teach you how to do that from a laying down position, a supine position, laying on your back, which is probably the most beneficial way to do it. Now, let's go to shoulder blades. We'll do the easy version of this today. So, shrug your shoulders up to your ears, push the floor away, unshrug your shoulders, let your body drop down to the floor, shrug, push, unshrug, drop, shrug, push, unshrug, drop, reverse, push, shrug, drop, unshrug, push, shrug, drop, unshrug. One more, push, shrug, drop, unshrug. Very good. Again, if this gets uncomfortable, like we've been here for a while, maybe 5 or 6 minutes already, you can change the wrist position. If you need to, just sit back, take a little break, return to all that pressure on your knees and hands in a moment. One thing that can help, I don't have them nearby right now, but is if you purchase parallettes, which are essentially handlebars on Amazon, That will help you maintain a neutral wrist position without having to press on your knuckles. I do have them actually over here, but I don't think they're screwed in, so I'm not going to put my weight on them. So next, let's go to the shoulder. Take your right hand off the ground, or I'll start left hand so you guys can see. Left hand off the ground, bring it across the midline. Bicep grazes your cheek. Come to the overhead position. Turn your palm down to the floor and out. Reach up and back behind you. Keep internally rotating so that when you come down to your knee, your palm is facing out to the left. Reach up and back behind you. Palm turns in, down, out. Overhead position, across the face, down. Number 2, across the face, overhead position, back, internal rotation, down, reverse. These ones are tough. And when you're ready, last one, arm across the face, bicep grazes mustache, palm down to the floor, out. Keep internally rotating as you reach back, reverse, reach up and back, palm in, palm down, palm out, overhead, across and down. Let's go right arm, across the body, bicep grazes cheek, overhead position, reach up and back behind you, palm is facing out at the bottom, reverse. Some cracking there. Arm across, bicep grazes cheek, internal rotation, come down and around, reverse, and across, and last one, arm across the body, bicep grazes cheek, you're in this overhead position, palm turns down, out, reach up and back behind you, palm should be facing out at this end position, reverse, palm in, down to the floor, across the face, and down. Very good. Just want to clarify one thing. We refer to this position as overhead. This is just a position where the arm is alongside the head. It would be used in an overhead press or something like that. Obviously, your arm is not over here when I'm saying overhead, so just to clarify that. Let's go to closed kinetic chain elbow cars. This is where your blocks can come in handy. If you have the blocks nearby, place your hands on the blocks, palms down. You're going to drop the elbows down to the floor, shift your body weight forward, putting a really big bend in your elbow. Shift back out, straighten the elbows, turn the palms up, drop down, shift forward, come back up. So what you'll notice as we do this, palms down, as my elbows drop, my forearm is moving around my wrist, my upper arm is moving around my forearm rather than my forearm moving around the upper arm. So I know that can get confusing. All you really need to know is one is open chain, one is closed chain. Both have benefits. It's good to practice both. That's really all there is to it. Palms down, elbows down, shift forward, straighten, palms up, elbows down, shift forward, back, straighten, and there you have it. Let's go to closed chain wrist cars. Spread the fingers out, palms are flat on the floor. What you want to do is try to get your forearm to move in as wide of a circle as possible. So the hand stays fixed. We're going to sit back. We're going to shift to the right. Keep this pinky, this left pinky down. Whole hand should still be pressing into the floor. Now start to shift forward. Big stretch on the back of the wrist. Shift over to the left. Keep those hands down and reverse. Shifting to the left, forward, to the right, and back. This is good for the knees too. Shift to the right, forward, left, back, left, forward, right, back, and again, last one, forward, left, back, and left, forward, right, and back. Very good. Just a few left. Hips, knees, ankles, and then obviously you could do toes and knees, but they'll just be in the same position as before. So when you're ready, let's go to the hip. I'm probably one of the worst demonstrations of the hip here. What you really want to be able to do is minimize any movement in your back or shoulders or anything like that. So it should just be the hip, even if that means your circle gets really small. So I'm going to try to demo that today. It may look like my circle is very small, but I'm going to try to limit movement throughout the rest of my body. So when you're ready, bend that left knee a little deeper, bring that heel towards your butt. Foot and knee move to the ceiling, out to the side. Foot drops down, knee comes up to elbow, meets the other knee. Reverse, knee comes up towards elbow, opens out to the side, foot drives up to the ceiling, knee and foot come back, and around to meet the other knee. I'll zoom in here for you so you can see how much trouble I have with this. But again, don't be afraid to minimize the circle if it means that you're getting better motion. Foot and knee drive up and back, knee out to the side. Wait till the last second to drop that foot down, knee up towards the elbow, down to meet the other knee. Reverse, knee to the elbow, open to the side, foot up to the ceiling, back and around. Last one, foot and knee drive up, out to the side, foot drops down, knee to elbow, reverse. There you have it. Right side, foot and knee drive up, out to the side, up towards the elbow, down to meet the knee, reverse, out to the side, foot reaches up, comes around, up and back, out to the side, up to the elbow. One more. Actually, this is the reverse, so now one more. Foot and knee drive up and back, out to the side, up to the elbow, up to the elbow, out to the side, up and back. Very good. 2 to go here. Closed chain knee cars, very fun. Be very gentle. These can be difficult. Let's pick your feet up, turn the toes out, sit back, come back up, toes in, sit back, up, toes out, sit back, come up, toes in, sit back, up, toes out, sit back. If this is uncomfortable for you, don't go very far. Like Romy could stick her toes out and sit perfectly flat. I don't recommend that for you guys or for me. When you're ready, last one, let's go to the ankle. Just a little bend in the knee. Big circles here with the toes and reverse. 1, 2, 3. Right foot up. 1, 2, 3, and reverse. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Very nice. So as you could see, you could take cars alone and make a whole class out of it. So that actually ended up being about 45 minutes. I thought maybe it would be around 15 minutes per position, which is usually how long it takes me to do cars in the morning. But I think with the explanations, it maybe was a little longer. But like I said, you could split this class in two. You could do it all as one class to cover everything, cover all your bases. But hopefully this is a good reintroduction for you guys as we start recording weekly again and bringing back a rhythm and some consistency for you. But hopefully this is a good reintroduction to go through these movements, relearn them, really listen to the cues, and just feel and move better. So in the next class, we'll go over pails and rails. We'll mostly focus on the wrist, shoulder, hip, and ankle, which are kind of the easiest ones to address. And we'll focus on creating range of motion in those joints. So I'll see you guys in the next class. Have a great week.